the Sports Dynasty Podcast, Baseball Edition. Yes, we're doing something. We're going to branch out into different sports now. I'm Trevor, if you haven't known already. And with me is my good friend, Anthony.
What's up, guys?
We're about to get our baseball going on right now. So for those who don't know, you should know, this is where it's at from my side. He's a Yankee fan, so it's going to pretty much gel right there. And today, we're going to discuss the American League East offseason, pretty much what we're going to expect from them this season, and our predictions to see into the division, other than that. But for the most part, yeah. So right now, we're going to start from, do you want to do worst to first? Worst to first?
Like the worst to first, yeah.
So unfortunately, but before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Play Radio, at Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Just type in Sports Dynasty Podcast. You'll see us there. So right now, we're going to do something different now, right? We're going to add a little baseball stuff to right now. So unfortunately, we're going to start off with the American League East. And, unfortunately, my Red Sox were actually in last place last year. They finished 24-36 last year. Just really bad. They had a really bad start, like really, really bad. You have no Chris Sale. We had a new manager because Alex Cora got suspended, was fired the year prior, but now we have Ron Reineke pretty much taking over we had just lost Mookie Betts in the off season and their price in the off season, and it's like it was just all over the place right now. Like it was trying to start off and strong and everything, but he couldn't do it. Chris Sale out for the season after they gave him a long-term extension, which I personally didn't agree with it. So yeah, and this was Chaim Bloom's first official season as a general manager because they fired Dave, our good friend Dave Dabrowski the year before for completely just for a salary dump. So me personally, so that was a really big issue right then and there. So then we had a problem with pitching because besides Vivaldi for early in the season was okay. He got hurt too. So it was like, damn, like what do we do? It was just a really bad season. But in the off season, we got they ended up giving back Alex Cora. He came back to the team. There's no surprise there. I think that after him serving the suspension, it was a no-brainer to bring him back. So I'm not surprised. For the most part, as for our off season that we got, I mean, unfortunately, we traded Andrew Benintendi to I believe it was the Royals. Traded him to the Royals for Frankie Cordero in return. Now, obviously, I'm not surprised they let him go. Eventually, we have to pay him eventually, but right now they're just trying to focus on getting the salary down because we overspend. Remember in 2018, we pretty much went all in, like JD Martinez, Chris Sale, we went all in that season, and it worked out. But as far as paying them, paying them afterwards, it didn't work. They ended up trading Jackie Bradley Jr. literally a couple of days ago to the Milwaukee, so it's crazy right then and there. We got outfielder Hunter Renfroe. We got a right hand. Try to somewhat tweak the pitching staff. They got Gary Richards, Enrique Hernandez. They even got Kiki. Enrique Hernandez. Yeah, which isn't that bad though. But and we acquired from your guys Adam Ottavino, which is kind of like a relief pitcher that pretty much it's gonna help something right now. But right now I believe Matt Barnes will be. I think Matt Barnes will be the closer for us this year. But other than that, it's kind of like it's gonna be kind of like we're gonna be just. I'll be lucky if we win. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'll be lucky. I'll be happy if they win 80 games this year. Because I don't think this team can win no more than 82 games. I think they'll probably be 79 win, 80 win season. But other than that, right now we just trying to build something better because, like I said, you can never count the Red Sox out. But
So you feel like the Red Sox right now are going to be fifth in the AL East?
No.
I don't feel like they're worse than the.
I have them fourth, and I have them fourth in the AL East. I believe that they'll probably win 78 games, And Baltimore to me will be the team that will be obviously dead last.
Disaster.
Disaster, yes.
Right.
But I think Boston, you know how it is. They'll have a couple of bad years, and then next year they're back in contention. So you can never count them out, though. But I just feel that they're trying to get their footing back in because I think, like I said before, they put all their eggs in the basket in 18, and it worked. But now the injuries is coming up right now, and you have Chris Sale's enormously large contract. It's like, damn, and he's hurt. He's come off of Tommy John surgeries. It's like, how good is he going to be coming in? But I have faith that it's going to be okay, though. But so you got 81. Okay. I see.
So I got the Red Sox right now at 81-81. I still feel like I would say, like, don't sleep on the Red Sox. Yeah. I know, like, it sounds tough because they're trading Benedetti, they traded Betts last season, but like we knew these two guys were not going to really stay in the Red Sox. Correct. So what I'm thinking about right now is if Rafael Devers is healthy, if Bogarts is healthy, you have two guys hitting at least 25 to 30 plus home runs, 90 RBIs, pretty similar WAR, and then I think Frankie Cordero will actually be that. He will be like the X factor. I really feel like he will at least give you a good 20 home runs, probably a 260 hitter, 50, 60 RBIs. He'll be pretty decent. From a lineup perspective, I do like JD Martinez. I think everybody's forgetting that you still have maybe like he's not he's not at the peak anymore, but he's still pretty decent. Yeah. But Devers and Bogart, like they're both mad young. Like this team is very good. But the problem is the division that they're in. And then you got Chris Sales, Eduardo Rodriguez coming back, and Nathan Eovaldi. Like, they're still pretty good, And what I'm saying is, like, if the Rays slip up, it's not going to be a pretty sight. Because this could be the battle for either 3 or 4 between the Rays and the Red Sox. And
I'm glad you mentioned that because you have to keep in mind that I'm not too sure if Major League Baseball is going to do the expanded playoffs again. But let's be honest. The expanded playoffs they had last year was a success. I'm not gonna lie to you; it was actually very more exciting.
It was more fun as hell.
So I like how they did the 8 on 8. The 8 AFC AL and 8 NL. I think that was really good. So I don't know. We'll see. You have a good point there. So like me, I love my Sox, and like I said, I'm not expecting them to like go to the playoffs and everything, but I hope to be competitive because there were games I think last season they went on an 8-game losing streak, and they were like, "What are you competitive? They couldn't even score. They couldn't do nothing." It's like it was really embarrassing to watch at times. It was a time where it's kind of like with the pandemic going on. It's like, okay, I know it's a pandemic going on. I know everything's different now, but at least go out there and try. At least try something. That was my only issue with them last year. But I think 78, 81 wins this year. They'll be fourth I have them being fourth in the American League East, but they're gonna be back soon.
Right, but they have a good rotation. I don't know so much about the bullpen. I haven't spent too much time on the Red Sox with that. The Orioles probably have one guy. I forgot his freaking name. I think he came back from cancer. He was a pretty legitimate player for the Orioles, but I don't think that he's that big of a factor that they're gonna be able to jump up in the standings. Now, I wanted to go talk about kind of the bear in the room, which is the Rays. Yeah. I have them 673. I don't think that they're going to be able to have the same hype that they once had with Blake Snell now gone. Yes. I don't know how that's going to happen. I think he's with the Padres now, right? Blake Snell's with the Padres.
Yes, he is.
The Padres is like a bomb. They're a bomb team. I don't know. This team is just crazy. But anyway, we're not talking about the Padres now. We'll go with the Rays, but. They don't have like a deep lineup, but they have a pretty decent lineup. And the thing with the Rays is like this is like Moneyball 101.
Thank you. I want to say that because
Moneyball 101.
The way that they handled in that game 6 last year in the World Series, that's clearly Moneyball 101. Why would you take Blake Snell out of an elimination game is beyond me. I think analytics is killing the game, but that's a whole nother conversation right then and there. But that's 100% agree with that. But
then also, yeah.
Imagine you mentioned Blake Snell. At least they got a return for they got Lou Patino, Cole Wilcox, Blake Hunt, and Francisco Mejia in return. So they got something for him. But it's hard not to doubt the Rays because they have a really good farm system. It comes to plus good pitching. They do develop the pitchers, and they signed Michael Walker from Michael Walker, so he's in that rotation too.
He's a really good starting pitcher.
Yeah, him, Chris Archer, Rich Hill, and and if you want to add Tyler Glasnow to the rotation, it's still not a bad rotation. But I do agree, them losing.
But compared to the Red Sox, I don't think they have the arms now to go the distance. And the thing is that I saw the Rays being built for a team that was built for a 60-game season, not 162. You cannot win just with a bullpen. This is the problem the Yankees have for a really long time.
Yes.
Actually, I would say they still got it. We'll get to there. But the thing about the Rays is, okay, you have a phenomenal bullpen. They really haven't lost much arms in there when it comes to that. Phenomenal closer, great setup man, and everybody that's throwing over 98 miles per hour. Just very intimidating. Like, once the sixth inning comes, the Rays can win. But how healthy can that bullpen stay? Charlie Morton out, Blake Snell is out.
Yes.
You got Chris Archer. He kind of just imploded in the Pirates. He really wasn't that effective. I think he even got hurt at some point. I'm not very sure. I'll have to look back on that. But I do think he'll have a bounce back season. But I don't see him being like a game-changing pitcher. It'll probably be like a 4.0 ERA pitcher. 10 wins, 7 losses, kind of your average guy, good number 4 or 5, maybe even a 3 if he does really well this year. Tyler Glasnow may be the guy that I see him as the Cy Young for the Rays. 13 wins, 7 losses, my prediction 3.40 ERA. This is me putting in a really high count, like a really shooting for the moon for him, because I know that he was pretty good with the Cleveland. Like, he was really solid. But I don't know if the Rays this year are going to get to 86, 76. I put that there to just put some respect on the team. See them going 4 or 5.
How many?
I'll say 4.
Wait, how many wins you had them this year?
For the Rays. For this year, 86. For this year, 86. I think that that's crazy. So we're kind of like in the same boat. And I think Blue Jays beat them by just 1 or 2 wins.
Okay.
But the Blue Jays have a really deep lineup. Like, it's really good. Like, this is like probably the Yankees back in 2017 kind of lineup. Everybody got popped. Now they got George Springer. They got actual all-stars now. I think the only thing that when we talk about the Blue Jays that really was a bit disappointing was that they didn't add a second arm. Because you got your rule. He's great. Well, why didn't you go all out for Trevor Bauer? Even though I will say I don't think Trevor Bauer is a legitimate man. I like Trevor Bauer, so I don't like saying this, but I don't see him as like Garrett Cole. I don't think he's worth $45 million a year, if that makes sense. So I can see how the Blue Jays were like, okay, we need that guy, but what he's asking for 3 years is insane. But great job to Ray Chaluba for doing that contract, which was crazy for him. But the Blue Jays this season, especially before the All-Star break, goes apart and, the whole trade deadline comes, they need to trade for somebody. They need to trade for someone big, a big Cy Young contender, or someone that's at least a solid 2, because that's what the Blue Jays need. Their starting rotation is the only thing that got me like, Everything else is legitimate. You got Vladimir Guerrero. I am predicting a 290 average, 30 home runs, and 90 RBIs. And I don't even think that's the ceiling. I literally think that's just the rock bed of his potential, because he was overweight last year, I think by 40 pounds. He just lost 40 pounds this season. Still super young. George Springer's on board now. You know how big he was for the Astros, bro. He was killing it. And then you got Common Vigio. His is going to be affected depending if they change the ball. This is kind of a lot of like analysts are saying. They're like, if they change the ball and it's not going to have as much flight as the baseballs that we used last year, he's not going to perform. He's not going to hit that many bombers. He might just be a sub-average second baseman. I forgot Mr. Bo over here. Well, I don't know how to say his freaking name. It's a French-ass name. I'm going to show you real quick, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. Bo Bichette, there you go. Bo Bichette, this dude was a freaking killer. 301 average. Actually, he's a 300 average hitter. This guy is legitimate. Mm-hmm. Like, he is probably the cornerstone player for the Blue Jays. Like, I know people like Vlad Jr., but he's an all-around player. This guy can do it all. And I think the projections right now, 17 home runs, a 286 batting average. That's kind of low. 103 hits, not bad. The dude could play. He could play the infield like crazy. He's really up there. Great shortstop. So the Blue Jays have a pretty solid lineup. So I don't see them passing the Yankees. Mm-hmm. But I think from that, I think that the Blue Jays need that one guy in the rotation. They're fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I like this.
I have them for like 92 wins. I have them. You know, other than that, you said pretty much everything I was gonna say. Like literally,
92 wins.
I think they're gonna be okay. I think they're gonna add somebody during the trade deadline. Like I said, they're there. I think they're there. I think 92 wins, 90, maybe 89. But I believe I had them at 92 wins. I think that they've done a good enough. I think they could have been at least an 89 win team last season had they had a whole 462 games. But I think they're almost there. They're gonna contend very soon. I think they'll be almost there. But we'll see about that though.
So that I agree. Now the Yankees are like they're they kind of remind me a bit of like A-Rod Marcheshara, 2009 era because the team has so much power, so much star power, but it's like every time something would happen, you know, A-Rod with some drama, or they would have an issue with Marcheshara getting hurt, or trying to find that missing piece. Now, in 2009, everything clicked. The Howsy Sabathia, A-Rod had an insane run. Hideki Matsui was killing it. He had a 600 average, like some on-cold average, which is amazing. But let's go really talk about it. They're super talented, but they're always dealing with injuries. So even though on paper they look great, the injuries, you don't know what kind of team you're going to get.
Exactly.
And they have struggled to stay healthy. Judge last season was great, but he wasn't like his rookie campaign. We still haven't seen that 50-plus home run Aaron Judge. I personally say for Judge this season, you don't need to hit the ball out the park all the time. Right now, the team needs to focus on having a high average, getting on base, and getting things moving. Because they did struggle a lot when it came to runs in scoring position. They were either like, oh, we're going to hit it out the park, or we're just going to strike out and go back to the bench. You can't win in the playoffs with that kind of mindset. It doesn't work there.
It hasn't worked in the last 10 years. Like, they're trying to play, like I said, I know, obviously remember, the 09 series when they went a 3-man rotation, and it was hitting it out of the park every single time because, you know, that's how they were. You can't do it anymore. They changed the rules to the point where, you know what I'm saying, they changed the rules to the point where you really can't do that anymore. So it's like, and I'm glad you mentioned that too. And then the pitching, I personally think, even though Tanaka was dealing with injuries last year, him losing Tanaka to me was huge because it's like you don't really have a second, a third, a consistent second or third arm in the rotation. Honestly speaking, I think it's Garrett Cole. At least Domingo Germain's coming back, you know, from his suspension, but you may add Corey Kluber, maybe Jordan Montgomery, but other than that, there's not really a consistent 2 or 3 there that, you know, because you're gonna need pitching in the postseason, obviously. You know,
right? And Domingo is not a number 2. I'm sorry. Like, okay, you got 18 wins and you got a 4.0 ERA. That's not a number 2. A number 2 is at least mid 3.50 ERA.
Yeah.
It's almost like if that guy could be ace if the ace goes down. Yeah. That's what I consider number 2. He's the right hand man of the ace.
Exactly.
So German is not that. Kluber is again. It's a guessing game. You don't know who's gonna really be that guy this season. Right now, spring training, everything looks beautiful. Domingo German striking everybody out. Kluber is going in there looking like old Kluber from the Cleveland Indians. I just don't know. And as a fan, it sucks because I don't like being uncertain about my team. It's like the Knicks. I know the Knicks are at least going to be a 500 average team this year. At least.
They are.
Right? And they are, which is great. So I'm happy. But I'm like, if someone told me, oh, what do you think the Knicks are going to do in the playoffs? I'm like, I don't know. I haven't even seen them there.
As you know, people talk about all that. Like it's been forced. Aaron Boone has been the coach for 4 years already. 4 years, at least 4, like 3 years. I believe 3 years, right?
Right.
The last 4 years they've had very disappointing postseason disasters where they completely fizzle out. The reason why the Yankees are so criticized, and like I said, I'm speaking from unbiased as possible. To me, they're like they literally are. They can win 100 games all they want. Aaron Boone won 100 games 2 years in a row, and they won 33 games last year. And they had a skid towards the end of the season because injuries happened again, picking up and everything. But a lot of up and down, a lot of hot and cold and everything. But I'm not gonna lie to you, if I'm Hal Hankston, the Steinbrenners, you know what I'm saying? Is Aaron Boone on the hot seat? Maybe. Like I said, it's New York.
He's not coming back if they lose. I'll say the reason to that. This is the reason why. He just got a heart. He has some heart issues. Apparently 10 years ago, had heart surgery. Now he's getting a pacemaker. I like Boone. I just don't like Boone in the playoffs. He doesn't know how to stick to his strategy. He's too. Oh, let's see what you guys think. And it's like these guys were not on the trenches with the guys like you were, Boone. You got Brian Cashman telling you what to do on the field. These are general managers. If he wants to be in your role, let him be the manager the whole entire season, not just when he decides that no, now it's important, so now let me get my input.
I'm gonna be very honest with you.
I don't like that.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. I fully believe that them firing Joe Girardi was a huge mistake. I still believe to this day it was a huge mistake because you one went away from the World Series, y'all lost to the Astros. However, y'all want to talk about they cheated, but I watched Game 7. We watched Game 7. They couldn't buy a hit in that Game 7. Couldn't buy a hit. So it's like you can't really blame that on the Astros, cheating with that treaty thing. I personally believe, and then in 2018, when the Red Sox won the championship, right? I said it before. I'm sticking by my guns. If Joe Girardi had been the manager in 2018, not only would the Yankees have the best record in baseball, it wouldn't have been even close. I think they could have won the World Series. But how the Red Sox were built as well, it'd have been like, come on, like it'll be 200 win teams anyway. But I think the Yankees would have had won the AL East that year as well. But I do believe them firing Joe Girardi and bringing in Aaron Boone was a huge mistake. I thought they should have kept him. But I understand why. He's been there forever. He's old. They want to go younger and stuff like that. But come on, like Joe Girardi was a winner. Everybody, he's like I'm saying. They've been good. They've been consistent with him a lot of the time. He's been at 10 years. They didn't play like 8 out of the last 10 years.
They want to chip with him. Like, I know there were some issues probably with the roster, and apparently some people didn't like Girardi. But let me be real with you: when you are being led by an alpha male like Girardi, of course you get a clash with him sometimes. But it's that tough guy, that tough grit is the guy that gets to the finish line. I like Boone, but Boone, he gives me like, I'm everybody's friend, dude. Look how far that's getting you. The minute that it counts, you literally disregard your own instinct, and now you're just trying to pander to the hierarchy of the Yankees organization. You cannot be doing that. Like, hey, I don't care if you fire me next season. This is what we're doing. Because we tried it your way 3 times and it doesn't work. Stick to your guns. Now, to segue into that, the Yankees don't just got a rotation problem. They also got the health issue with Aaron Hicks. It's not just the superstars, but it's the guys that when they're clicking, it helps. They're like the X factor. So Hicks to me is like X factor, but he just can't play a full season to save his life. Like the dude, he's getting paid $10 million. You were supposed to be like the second coming of Bernie Williams, and you're looking like you're about to get out of this team a lot faster because he can't stay healthy. He's just picking up. He's literally another Jacoby Ellsbury. Sorry, he just still got him in the.
I love Jacoby, man, but
I do.
Also,
but he's
the bad contracts too. The bad contracts you got there too.
The bad contracts. So we don't this year. Like whatever we have, this is what we're gonna set for the next few years. Now, this is another problem Tylon, the guy that we just got from the Pirates, decent pitcher, but didn't pitch last season. He looks good in the spring training. He looks very healthy. If he's on point, he's our number 2.
Okay. That's
because
fair.
he's been at number 2 behind Cole. In the Pirates, when they went to the playoffs, those two were really good. Since the Pirates overall did not have they didn't have the team to really drive to get a World Series. But there was a time when the Pirates actually had like that. Whoa, where these guys came from? Domingo Germán and Severino, I feel like right now they're even. Even though Luis Severino is a Cy Young qualifying pitcher, he's had that, he's done that, and we know that he can do it. My thing is this: I'm not gonna give the Yankees a 98. I'm giving them a 93 to 69. They're gonna struggle with the Jays. They're gonna struggle sometimes with the Red Sox. Who can the Yankees barely hit? Chris Sale. If that man is on, this is gonna be a very tight division. It is not gonna be as easy weasy as they think it is. I don't think so. That means
I agree.
It's gonna be tighter because all the teams at least have that one ace or two, and it could really work. The Yankees are the only ones right now that, because of their rotation, it's like massive confusion. Who and also this is gonna affect the chemistry. They're gonna be I already see Boone like, oh, today Cole is gonna be our number 3 pitcher for this week. They're gonna try to see like because these guys always try to play around with the rotation. Nothing's ever set,
It's
and this
the
has
analytics
affected the Yankees.
A lot of the managers now, a lot of the people in these front offices now in the MLB is all about the numbers, and we continue to see especially in baseball, it doesn't work. Analytics in baseball doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't. It literally cost Tampa Bay a championship.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
Did. So it's like
they had a Seahawks moment. Literally, they had a Seahawks moment where instead of running the ball, they passed the ball. Kind of effects.
It makes sense. It's like the numbers. They tell you one thing, but they only tell you like if you're like you have a lot of these free agents, a lot of these front office guys who never played baseball in their life. They're the smart. They can crunch the numbers. They say, all right, well, the numbers say if we do this 80% of the time, it's gonna work. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
You mentioned Severino before, and I believe I agree with that. But Severino is coming off Tommy John surgery, and he won't be back until like mid-season. And that's if COVID doesn't mess up the schedule and everything, they should be fine. But I do agree they're gonna struggle early on. They'll pick it up towards the end. I have them at least winning 93 games. They'll have 93 games. They'll win the division, but a very small margin. I think the Toronto Blue Jays is gonna keep pace with them for the majority of the year. So, yeah, the Yankees win the AL East, but it's like, it's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. I think this season is gonna be very interesting. But I think this is the season where the Yankees will decide if they're gonna keep their team or they're gonna break it apart. Because I really don't see how they keep it the same. Then they got this guy, Jason Dominguez. He's 17 years old. He's being compared to Mike Trout. This kid is legitimate. Like, I feel like if he goes up the ranks right now with the Yankees, and apparently Brian Cashman is really high on this guy. 5'10", 190 pounds. He's an outfielder. He can replace Aaron Hicks. Not for nothing, Aaron Hicks is barely present. He's like that absent father. You don't know where he's at, but he pops up when he needs to pay his check. So why not? Why not? He looks like he's like Brian Cashman is pretty high on him. I see him going up the ranks, right? Apparently his pop is crazy. He's number 1 right now in MLB. Let me see his numbers real quick. But so far they see him as this like top prospect guy. But I don't know if he's gonna come up the season. Apparently they really don't know. But I'm gonna end it there with the Yankees in the AL East. I think that's pretty much the Yankees do have a secret weapon. It's Jason Dominguez. If he is not a bust and he comes through, they're gonna have a crazy season. But I don't think it really addresses the problem with the Yankees. because hitting is not the issue. It's the guys that keep healthy. So if this guy comes up, can he sustain 162 game season? I don't know. These are a lot of questions that need to be answered. And as I'm saying, like the Blue Jays can sneak in. You can also sneak in the Red Sox because everybody's sleeping on the Red Sox, but I know that team can stay healthy. Not for nothing. Bogarts is not getting hurt. Devers is not getting hurt. Martinez plays DH and first baseman from time to time, depending on how he wants to suit it up. Ray's got a ridiculously young team that still got potential. And then you got the Blue Jays that they looking like they're about to replace the Yankees for the next 5 years. If the Yankees don't do what they have to do. So they could be like the 1990s Blue Jays when they had Carter and they were killing everybody.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, this division is not so set in stone. So it's all about how the Yankees play it. And if Corey Kluber can be a dominant pitcher, the rotation can get set, then yeah, they'll win it. But if not, then it's going to be up in there.
I agree 100%. So other than that, that's the AL East right there, man. That's
you already know.
We hope you guys, took in our information, learned something there. We're trying to branch out in other sports now. So, we're gonna do a lot. You're gonna see, as far as baseball, you're gonna see me and Anthony covering baseball throughout the season. I'm glad hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play Radio, Stitcher Play Radio, and Podcast Dynasty on Twitter. We're on iTunes. I said that right. Yeah. We're on Facebook and Instagram. Type in Sports Dynasty Podcast. You'll see us there. We're part of the group. Join it. We have conversations there. We just keep it going, man. At the end of the day, this is your podcast. If you guys want to talk baseball with us, you can hit us up. You can join the call with us as well. And man, we're open to hear anything about it. It should be a good season. I'm very excited. Spring training's going on right now. I'm very excited what's going to happen. We're going to discuss other divisions in upcoming episodes for Sports Dynasty Baseball. But that being said, we appreciate you guys. Thank you, and have a good evening.
Have a good one.